that they can continue to develop to their full potential. And I'd like to ask Lisa Heddens, who was speaking about that. He has a 15-year-old son, Paul, with Down syndrome. He's an 8th grader at Gilbert Middle School in Gilbert. He's been integrated into the school system extremely well. She also has a daughter I know at Iowa State. Good. Lisa has worked at Iowa Protection Advocacy, and also obviously after President introducing state representatives, she's also a state representative for the 46th district in Story and Boone counties. Lisa.
Thank you, Senator Harkin and Secretary Duncan. And I have to tell you that I think my favorite job is being one as a parent. So I'm pleased to be here as a parent today versus a legislator. I have had very good outcomes with my son in school. The process that has been laid out has worked very well, and my involvement with the school, I think, has been what has helped make him have such a success. But probably one of the things that I noticed, and kind of leads into my question, is in regards to the assessments that are out there and how do we kind of mesh the two together. I have found, for example, that my school district has contacted me on a few times of instead of having my child take the Iowa Test of Basic Skills, to look at only the alternative assessment. And while I think that is another avenue to go, their reasoning for it is the concern that will put the school on the watch list. And I think that's quite unfortunate, because it makes us as parents feel like, gosh, if we don't do the alternate assessment, it's our fault for the school getting on that watch list, versus looking at what are the services needed so that they are capable and able to do the assessment to the level of their ability, so that we have a true understanding as to where they at, where do we go as we do their education planning forward.
It's a great question. One of the biggest changes, let me just take 1 second. I think folks are having a hard time understanding how differently we're thinking about this, right or wrong. But the current system, a school or district has all the, let's say a school has all the different subgroups. And if you have one subgroup where the children aren't making it, that entire school is labeled as a failure. And I had schools in Chicago. I had one school of 1,200 elementary school students, and they were one child short of making it. So they're doing a pretty darn good job with the overwhelming majority, and that one child made that school a failure. To me, that's intellectually dishonest. It's disheartening. It's not fair to teachers. It's confusing to parents. It's not fair to students. So what we want to look at is, we want to look at growth and gain. How much are folks improving? And I want so you want to measure ELL students against ELL students. You want to measure students with special needs. And so there's this idea of growth. On assessments, how we get assessments right for special education students and ELL students is probably the toughest thing we're going to do. And there are two extremes that don't work. One extreme is saying that we shouldn't assess anybody, and therefore we have no expectations. And you don't, sort of sweeping kids under the rug. We can't do that. The other side of that spectrum, the other end of that, is where students are taking an assessment that they can't comprehend. And that doesn't make sense either. And we have to sort of find that middle ground. I have an extraordinary team. Alexa Posney was a former state soup at Kansas, who's working, who's driving my special ed sort of review process. My head of K-12 education is an award-winning superintendent from California, Thelma Melendez, who was actually an ELL student herself growing up and faced some very significant low expectations and overcame that. And so we have to find that middle ground, and we're committed to doing that. But for any school to think that doing the right thing by a children is going to get them labeled as failure, think again, I talk about perverse incentives. Think about what that does to the mentality of teachers and principals. We should all be thinking about what's the right thing to do for children. Are they improving? Are they not improving? Are they improving relative to other children like them? And if you're doing a great job, great. If you're not, let's challenge the status quo. But those kinds of things have to change, and I think we can break through on.
Can you follow up on that, Lisa?
Well, I was just going to say, I appreciate hearing that, because I do think that is an obstacle for collaboration, because parents can feel intimidated and not a part of the process. They feel like they're more the problem there. Just your comment earlier of just more parent involvement. I think parents understanding how to be involved and the importance of being involved is huge out there. And in my former works that I've had, I mean, that was one of the things that we really tried to articulate to families that we work with is, be out there, be in your school system, but also for schools to recognize, because of their child's level of disability, there may be other things they need to take care of at home too. So it's kind of that two-way street going on.